What's up, guys? In this video, I would just like to throw you 5 principles from body language that you can apply to your next job interview to hopefully tip the odds in your favor. Tip number 1 I would like to throw your way is to sit all the way back in your chair so that it makes you straighten your back and also creates a nice distance between you and your interviewer. So you're not leaning forward and you're not slouching. Why this is important, I think, is that it creates a nice non-threatening distance and space relation between you and your interviewer, and it also keeps you from slouching so that it keeps you appearing energetic and literally feeling energetic because you're not, slouching down and adopting the body language of someone who's not so motivated and maybe not so desirable to be hired. Tip number 2 that I would like to give you is when you go to shake their hand, should you do so, that you give them the upper hand handshake. Despite what your grandpa may have told you growing up, it's actually better to calibrate in a handshake, and oftentimes in business situations, if you go in with an overly dominant upper hand handshake like that, you can be perceived as quite threatening. So giving them the upper hand, that is, presenting your palm almost completely flat, maybe not too flat, but giving them the upper hand in the handshake will make them feel more in control and less threatened by your presence there. Tips number 3 and 4 are going to be combined into an overall pattern called pacing and leading from the world of hypnosis. So tip number 3, what you're going to be doing is the pacing part. Pacing is essentially something you may have heard before called mirroring, which is just mimicking the body language, the gestures, the words that the person or the interviewer, whoever it may be, is using. This does work. It's been studied quite extensively, so do not leave it out. Tip number 4 that I would like to give you is to repeat over and over and over again in your head, yes, 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 and nod in agreement constantly when they're talking. This will, if you have performed the mimicking, pacing, and leading aspect correctly and gained some unconscious rapport, hopefully they will mimic back unconsciously to you the gestures that you're performing, and since those are gestures of agreement and gestures of nodding and openness, that they will hopefully elicit that state in themselves in the interview, which is something I would think you would agree is quite desirable for yourself. Tip number 5 that I would like to share with you is by gesturing out from your navel, from your belly button area, and up from your shoulders, but never from above your shoulders and never from below your waist. Typically, gesturing with open palms out from the navel is perceived to be very honest and somebody displaying very truthful qualities. And gesturing up here is somebody who's very passionate. You probably see my hands flailing around here all the time, passionate what they're talking about. So maybe when you're talking about your past experience with whoever, or you're talking about yourself, you may want to gesture from the navel, out from your belly button, that is, in an effect to appear more honest. And then when you're talking about how much you want to work there and how excited you are, you want to be gesturing in the passion plane, so you do perceive to be genuinely passionate. If you're just sitting with your hands at your sides and you say, oh yeah, I'm super excited to work there, it's not as believable as when you're like, I'm so excited to come work here, I've been wanting to work here for a very long time, etc. So there you have it. That's 5 tips for you to hopefully go in and tip the scales in your favor in your next job interview. Cheers!